Now that 1923 is over, looking back, what stuck in your mind the most from the series? Is it the immortal love between Alexandra and Spencer? Is it Kara's badass defense of the ranch? Is it the snow? Or is it the over-the-top sexual violence of Donald that basically dominated the entire season for seemingly no reason at all? Well, my vote is for the last one. Because even though I will never forget Alex's unfair fate, I think my nightmares will forever be haunted by those violent scenes at the Donald's Manor. And yes, I am mad about it. And it seems like I'm not alone in my sentiments. So let's talk about it. As many of you know, Yellowstone franchise tends to thrive on the villains. Why? Well, because Duttons are heroes of Montana, and every hero needs its own villain. Sometimes it is a big, evil company that wants to so-called modernize the state by ruining the traditional way of life there, such as the market equities in Yellowstone. Sometimes it is the entire setting that is the villain, from the hot weather to difficult landscape and lack of basic necessities such as the one in 1883. And sometimes it is just an evil man who has evil ambitions, and even his smile is evil, just like Donald Whitfield in 1923. Except, unlike other villains in this series, Donald's evilness becomes more and more pointless, random, and just meh. I know, a lot of you guys are truly disgusted by Donald, and this might lead you to think that he was this great villain who was truly scary. But hear me out. Let me ask you, what makes a villain a great villain? To me, they need to be believable, right? They need a proper motivation for things they do. So, what is Donald's motivation? It is to be rich? Well, it seemed like it at first, in season 1. But as the show progressed, we realized that this man already have more than enough money. And even though he would probably love to get even more, this wasn't the primary motivation in his actions at all. Think of it this way. If Donald was a nice person with a cuter appearance and saw that 2 guys skiing in the mountains, coming up with the ski resort idea, this might be the inspiring origin story of a great man with a great idea that transformed tourism forever. Because even though it was bad to the Yellowstone ranch, but in the end, Donald was a businessman and had smart business ideas. And I'm sorry, but these ideas were not enough alone to make him the bad guy that everyone should hate. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments, but I believe Taylor was also thinking that Donald was not enough of a bad man, and thus, he included all those pervert profanity scenes to make us hate him even more. Which might smart at first, but again, why Donald does this? Does he have a believable motivation to engage in such terrible actions, except for just wanting to do it? At one point, he mentioned that he is training these girls to do the same to the other businessmen, but come on now. We did not even get to see that part of the story. So, we never got to see Donald in his true villain era. We only saw him in his pervert era, and I'm sorry, but to me, that's not good enough. Another important feature of a true villain is to have an emotional connection with the viewers, aka us. Think of Joker in Batman. We might not agree with him, but we get him. We have an understanding of why he is doing what he is doing, and that's the part that is terrifying to us. That's the part that makes Joker one of the best villains that ever written. When we look at Donald, though, I'm sorry, but there is nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing about him that is understandable or relatable or anything that would lead most people to connect with him. Again, feel free to disagree with me in the comments, but I doubt anyone would watch this show and feel anything substantial, worth mentioning towards Donald. Except for disgust, of course. The sad thing is, this character had a lot of potential in season 1. He was unpredictable, it was clear that his mind was twisted, and he created a terrifying mystery. However, when we reached season 2, it became clear that all those were just an appearance for him. Since he was evil just to be evil, all he could do was to torture women, and he didn't have even the power to protect himself at this own home. Like, how can we respect him as a villain at this point? And yes, every single build-up about his character is overshadowed by his perversion, and now, all we can think about when we see him is that he is a disgusting, abusive man. Plus, is it just me? Or were those scenes add nothing to the story at all in the end? I mean, imagine cutting all the profanity in season 2. Do you think the overall story changes? Well, let me tell you, no. The story does not change, not even a bit. Which tells me that the perversion of Donald served no aim at all. It did not make him a more interesting character. We did not learn anything new about him through these scenes. It had nothing to do with his ending, and it added nothing to the troubling business scene in Montana. In fact, to me, all those scenes felt so empty in the end. Thus, I can't help but question, did we really have to watch those scenes of women being tortured one after the other? Why did Sheridan want to include those over-the-top scenes to this season? And it wasn't like there was just one scene. We got at least one scene for almost all episodes of the season. We already had limited time for the main storyline. So, why did we waste it with such disgusting scenes that contributed nothing to the show at all? Honestly, guys, I'm getting mad even asking these questions. It is so disturbing to see that a beloved and successful creator of a beloved franchise truly sit down and wrote all those horrific scenes to a highly expected TV show for no reason at all. The thing is, it seems to me that torturing women was the theme in this season of the series. Because even though Donald's scenes stood out for their perversion, we also watched Alex being assaulted multiple times in the most humiliating ways possible, and we watched Elizabeth suffering in the ranch in all the other ways that were almost equally horrifying to watch. And I'm not even talking about Tiana here. Like, Kara was basically the only woman who did not suffer from any form of assault this season. And feel free to fight me in the comments, but I truly don't think that the male counterparts in the series had that difficult of a season. Honestly, it wouldn't be so wrong to claim that the entire season was built on the women's suffering. And yes, I hate that. There is nothing feminist about making women suffer for the sake of their men and then make them present like they are the strongest people ever and they became stars when they died. I mean, how is this an empowering storyline for any woman? Please explain it to me because I'm truly horrified by the mind of Sheridan at this point. And yes, I want justice for the women in the Yellowstone franchise. That's about it. For more weekly updates, analysis, and discussions on the Yellowstone franchise, make sure to like and follow. Meanwhile, the video on the screen might also interest you.